Hello, fans of all ages. This is indeed the Ryan Morik Show coming to you live from Studio A here at Ramapo College of New Jersey in Mahwah, New Jersey. This is the one, the only Ryan Morik. A little bit of a change in the music tonight, as you guys can tell. A little bit of Biggie Smalls here because it's Thursday. You know, we're going a little throwback Thursday. I think I'm going to start doing that every week. I've been in a throwback mood lately, and enjoy a little Biggie. We got a busy show today. We got a lot of trades going on in the NFL. We have some trades going on in the NHL as well. And even some bold statements by Brian Cashman earlier today. So let's get this thing started. First things first, we are going to start off with the LaShawn McCoy trade. LaShawn McCoy was traded to the Buffalo Bills for linebacker Kiko Alonso. I got to tell you, when I first saw this trade, I was very surprised. I did not think that the Eagles would ever trade LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy is one of the greatest running backs I've seen in a very, very long time. LaShawn McCoy is flashy, he's explosive, and he is a flat-out problem. Every time he played the Giants, I was very scared because I knew that he was the guy that, especially with the Giants' run defense and their lack of pass rushing recently, I knew that LaShawn McCoy was going to have a field day every time they played the Giants. And Giant fans, don't be too excited yet because the Giants play the Buffalo Bills once this year. Sorry for the bad news. When I first looked at this trade, I thought to myself, advantage Buffalo, right? They just got LaShawn McCoy, and they got rid of a linebacker who missed all of last year. So when you look at it, Kiko Alonso, not a household name by any means. LaShawn McCoy, one of the first picks in almost every fantasy draft, and you can go up to anyone and say, "Who's LaShawn McCoy?" and they'll tell you, running back for the Eagles. Well, now the Bills. You go up to someone and say, "Who was Kiko Alonso?" Some people are going to look at you like you have 9 heads. When you really look in depth of this trade, though, this is exactly what Chip Kelly wants. Kiko is a former Duck. They're obviously going to work very well together. Chip Kelly knows a lot more than I know. He knows a lot more than you know. He knows a lot more than 99% of people know about the game of football. So when you realize that, you have to realize that LaShawn McCoy must not have been ideal in Chip Kelly's system. And to be completely honest, when you look at LaShawn McCoy, great running back, phenomenal. There's no words, he's just phenomenal. But in reality, LaShawn McCoy is not the run it down your throat guy. The guy will shake and bake and go off for a 30-yard carry, and then the next carry he's going to try to do something a little special, try the Madden 15 run where you go 25 yards to one side of the field, 25 yards to the other side of the field, and you lose 10 yards in the process while running 50 in total. Another thing that I thought about this trade, this is one of two options. This is, first option, probably foreshadowing for trading up to get Marcus Mariota. Right now, the Eagles have 9 Oregon Ducks on their roster. There's been talk of the Eagles getting Marcus Mariota all year last year and the entire offseason so far. This might be their statement that they're getting Marcus Mariota. Now, I don't know that 100% sure, obviously, But when you look in depth, when you really look at this trade, look at how many Oregon Ducks there are on this roster. There's 9 of them. Chip Kelly has run the same system no matter what players he has. The fact that he has his own players, this is exactly what he wants. Another thing that I thought was a possibility was that maybe LeSean McCoy was a problem in the locker room. Look at the three main guys that the Eagles got rid of over the last calendar year. Deshaun Jackson left for Washington. They just traded LeSean McCoy, and they cut linebacker Trent Cole. All of these players are really, really good. Deshaun Jackson, we know, is a bit over the top. His antics are very questionable. And honestly, if he were a Giant, as much as I would love to see him perform, there have been times where he's doing cartwheels before he even reaches the end zone, and then he fumbles at the 1-yard line. And there have been times where he runs sideways before scoring just to showboat. Just score the touchdown. Come on. We know that you're going to score. Just stop. I don't know much about LeSean McCoy and Trent Cole personally, but why else are you getting rid of these big-name guys and guys that are very important to your team? Well, here's another third option. Look at all of the cap space that they are clearing. LeSean McCoy, $11 million. Trent Cole, $11.6 million. That's over $22 million. And now they're going very young. Kiko Alonso is a very good fit with this Philadelphia Eagles team. You can make the argument that he's better than Trent Cole already. He's younger than Trent Cole, which in the long term is exactly what the Eagles want. I mean, this guy had 159 tackles in his rookie year. That's just less than 10 a game. That's awesome. Both teams, in reality, are winners of this trade. Short term, I think the Bills are the winners of this trade because they just got LeSean McCoy. But long term, which is more important, I got to give it to the Eagles. Now, here's how it helps out the Bills. Obviously, LeSean McCoy is a huge. I've said it. I'm a broken record player right now. LeSean McCoy is a phenomenal running back. Highest leading rusher in Eagles history. Most scrimmage yards per game in Eagles history. Third most touchdowns in Eagles history. Third most rushing yards since he got drafted. Fourth most rushing touchdowns since he got drafted. This guy is a flat-out animal. He's flashy. And the only thing that he really can't do is run over guys like Marshawn Lynch or Brandon Jacobs back in the day. But still, this guy is very exciting to watch. Look at the Bills running backs from the last couple of years. C.J. Spiller and Fred Jackson. C.J. Spiller, in my opinion, one-year wonder where he put up incredible stats. They are not very trustworthy starters. Now that they got LeSean McCoy, you assume they are not re-signing C.J. Spiller, who's a free agent right now. So Fred Jackson is a pretty solid backup. And LeSean McCoy is a huge improvement over C.J. Spiller, without a doubt. Now here's how it helps the Eagles. They need help on defense. Last year they let up just over 110 rushing yards a game. A guy with 159 tackles in his rookie year helps out a lot. Yes, this guy is coming off of a torn ACL, but look at the amount of time he's had to recover. I think he was placed on the IR back in August of 2014, so he missed all of this season, and he's going to, I don't know when he tore his ACL, but he had this entire season to rest, this entire offseason to rest, and he's probably going to be back week 1, if not earlier, in training camp. The guy's had a year to recover. This guy's going to be in phenomenal shape. Now, going back to the cap hits, they're saving $11 million with LaShawn McCoy, if not more, and they're saving 11.6 or something like that with Trent Cole. Their passing defense was the second worst in the NFL. Let's take a look at the free agents in the secondary this year. Darrelle Revis, Antrell Roll, Charles Tillman, Cortland Finnegan, Traymon Williams, Ike Taylor, Antonio Cromartie, Walter Thurmond, Stevie Brown, Brandon Merriweather, Ryan Clark, and that's just, how many did I name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? That's only 11 guys who you can get for $5 million, probably. And there are a ton left. There's your help on defense. Kiko Alonso to stop the run. And they have all this money to sign someone in the secondary. They're getting one of those guys with all that money that they have. And maybe more with all of that money to spend. And here's the other good thing about it. When the season starts, Kiko Alonso, I don't know when his birthday was, but he was born in 1990. So let's assume he's 25 when the season starts. He's a 25-year-old linebacker. I don't have the exact stat, but from what I've seen, linebackers have longer careers than running backs. They are more effective when they get older than running backs. When was the last time you saw a running back with LaShawn McCoy's style of play completely dominate by the time they reach the age 28, 29, 30? Tiki Barber? Adrian Peterson's hitting 30 soon. They used to bench Barry Sanders when he got old. Old meaning between the ages of 28 and 30. Because you can't run away from defenders forever. You can't juke and spin and hurdle forever. Now, Marshawn Lynch, he's a different story. The guy is 29, I think he's pushing 30. Marshawn Lynch can still dominate as a running back because the guy is an 18-wheeler. The guy just runs over everybody. And on top of that, he does have the skill that LaShawn McCoy has when he can just juke whoever he wants. Once again, this is exactly what Chip Kelly wants. He is one of the smartest guys in the NFL. Usually, you see GMs give the coach the players to work with. Chip Kelly is getting his own players, both literally and figuratively, to work with. He's getting his own players to run his own system. Honestly, the Eagles are going to be very, very dangerous. They don't have a lot of household names, but they have the right players. You do not need great players to be a successful team. This helps out the Bills in the short term because they got LaShawn McCoy. But long term, if you ask me, within the next 10 years, who has the chance to win more Super Bowls? It's the Eagles, definitely. So we're going to move to the baseball field really quickly. Yesterday, Alex Rodriguez made his spring training debut. Went 1 for 2 with a walk, a single, grounded out to shortstop. His single was on his first at bat, and I was loving every bit of it. I was scrolling through ESPN yesterday, scrolling through one of the stories that they were talking about A-Rod and how he got the single in his first at-bat, whatever. And I'm scrolling through the comments, and someone commented, "Go A-Rod." And then there was another comment that said, "Way to teach your kids that you can cheat and it's okay." I had to reply back. I said, "We are not teaching anyone anything. We would if we were teaching someone something, I would never, ever teach my kids that cheating is okay. Ever. It is unacceptable. That's not what I stand for, and that's not what my kids are going to stand for. No way." I understand why people hate this guy. The guy is a disgrace to the game. The guy sued just about everybody because he was lying. But did he do anything to hurt you? Yankee fans, if you are not rooting for A-Rod, if you go to a game this year and A-Rod comes up to the plate and you boo him, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. Alex Rodriguez has come off of the longest suspension due to drug-related, because of drugs, because of steroids. He served his time. He's trying to produce for the team. He did nothing to you, to my knowledge, unless if you're a part of the Yankees front office, he did nothing to you personally. We used to cheer for teams way back when they banned African Americans from the game. Now we boo someone because they took steroids. Guys, cheaters are in the Hall of Fame. There are racists in the Hall of Fame. There are probably some steroid users in the Hall of Fame. The only people who should want A-Rod gone from the Yankees is the Yankees. The fans, you can want A-Rod gone once he's batting below 240 or can't hit a baseball, and you don't want your team spending $61 million on this guy. Then, okay, call for A-Rod's quote-unquote impeachment. Cheering for Alex Rodriguez is not supporting PED use. It's not supporting cheating whatsoever. It's supporting your favorite team. Bottom 9, 2 outs, last game of the year. A hit, you're in the playoffs. An out, your season's over, you're watching baseball from your couch. Alex Rodriguez is up. What do you want? I'm taking the win. Whether Freddie Krueger's up to bat or Derek Jeter's up to bat, I'm taking the W. If A-Rod is producing for the Yankees, why am I going to complain? A-Rod's helping my favorite team win. What's so bad about that? I get it. A-Rod is something else. But to boo him when the Yankees haven't made the postseason in 2 years and you desperately want them to make the postseason, to boo him, I'm sorry, it's unacceptable. I'm sorry. I don't think you should ever boo anyone on your own team. Jet fans, to this day, I get Mark Sanchez and Gino were bad. But honestly, booing for them only contributed to only contributed further to their poor performances. They're giving their all. They want to help this team win. We cheered for Robinson Cano, but he was the one who would hit a ground ball and walk to first base. Alex Rodriguez, although he cheated the game, he still loves it. He cheated the game because he wanted to be the best of all time. He didn't cheat with the game to be a nuisance. He cheated the game because he wanted to be great. And was he great? Oh, absolutely. With a lot of help. But he was great, wasn't he? By the way, Red Sox fans, do you know who was on your team? Manny Ramirez, who got caught twice. David Ortiz, who said that he didn't do it, and all of a sudden he's forgiven, which is ridiculous. You have Clay Buchholz, who is loaded up with more pine tar than Michael Pineda. So don't you dare be a hypocrite. Yesterday, watching Alex Rodriguez, I was rooting for him. And I'm going to be rooting for him until the day he stops wearing the Yankee uniform. And by the way, I thought Alex looked pretty good yesterday. And for me, someone who's rooting for Alex, that's great. If he plays well, that means the Yankees are going to win games if he plays. The more the Yankees win, the happier I am. If you would rather the Yankees lose, if you would rather A-Rod do something poorly to have the Yankees lose, I'm sorry, I can't call you a Yankee fan. I can call you a baseball fan for wanting people who respect the game perform well and people who disrespect the game to perform poorly. But if you're going to root against someone on your own team, I'm sorry, I can't have that happen. I don't think it's right. Is he a disgrace to baseball? Yes. And it takes a special person, I say that very loosely. It takes a special person to do what he did. He sued the management. He sued his family. He sued the Yankee doctor. He sued everyone because he did not want to get caught in his own lies. But again, you cannot deny the love this guy has for this game and how hard he tries, and that you have to appreciate. Why do you think we gave Derek Jeter a huge farewell tour? Yes, it was because the guy is arguably a top 5 Yankee. But more importantly, it was because of the way he played the game. The guy was a captain for the Yankees for 12 seasons. Derek Jeter, even though you're not a Yankee fan, you don't think to yourself, that guy was a great ball player. You think to yourself, that guy played the right way. Every 90 feet meant no different than the 90 feet before or 90 feet after. Whether it was the All-Star game, the World Series, spring training, opening day, a game in May. Whatever it was, and even Derek Jeter's final at-bat where he was going all out in a game that didn't even matter, that is why we appreciate Derek Jeter and those kinds of athletes. A-Rod cheated, but when you look at him, he does not take any 90 feet for granted. If Alex Rodriguez is doing something well for my team, why should I complain? Ryan Braun, Nelson Cruz, Francisco Cervelli, Jordany Valdespin, Jesus Montero, Everett Cabrera, and a lot more got suspended because of biogenesis. Are they disgraces to the game? They sure aren't treated like it. You wouldn't boo those guys if they were on your team, so don't boo Alex. Sometimes these guys, Braun, Cruz, Cervelli, all that, they didn't even get booed when they were on the road. And I get A-Rod is on a completely other level than all the guys that I just named. But I saw the Orioles play twice at Yankee Stadium last year. Nelson Cruz came up to bat 4 times in each game probably. And I don't remember hearing one boo out of the crowd. Yankee fans cheered for Francisco Cervelli when he came up to the plate. Met fans are probably still cheering for Jordany Valdespin. I don't even know if he's on the team anymore. If you cheat the game, whether you're A-Rod or whether you're a guy who was the last pick in the MLB draft, you're a disgrace to the game. But these guys that I just listed, they're not treated like it. Because A, they're not a household name like Alex Rodriguez. B, they don't play in New York City, which is the media capital of the world and the everything capital of the world, pretty much. How come these guys aren't treated like they are disgraces to the game when they in reality are? It's unfair. It's really unfair. Yankee fans, I know a lot of Yankee fans who would not boo Ryan Braun or Nelson Cruz or any of these guys, but they're booing someone on their own team. I'm sorry, that's completely uncalled for. I would never boo anyone on my team, ever. Ever. You would not boo those guys. Do not boo Alex Rodriguez unless even if he performed poorly, I still wouldn't even think twice about booing him because he's still going all out. He's trying his best. And I don't get what's a crime about that. I don't get why that's so terrible. I get you don't like the guy. But come on. I'm sorry. If I go to opening day, and I hope I do, I'm cheering for A-Rod. I'm going to give him a standing ovation. I went to a game last year shortly after A-Rod's original suspension was announced, and that was bad. It was like 70-30 boos, but I was part of the 30%, and I didn't care who thought that I was a psycho because I'm cheering for my beloved Yankees. Here we go with some updates in the sports world. First, we're going to start with the sports here at Ramapo College. The men's tennis team got shut out by TCNJ 9-0. In fact, they did not win a set. The Roadrunners returned to action when they traveled to Hilton Head, South Carolina at the Spring Fest tennis tournament from March 15th through March 19th. They will take on Edgewood College on the first day of the tournament. The men's volleyball team snapped their 3-game win streak. They lost both games of a doubleheader last night. First game, they lost to Marymount University 3-1. Second game, they lost to Stevenson University 3-0. But on the bright side, Ryan Cassie, outside hitter, 12 kills against Marymount and Stevenson each. Justin Fagelis with 29 kills in the doubleheader, 20 of them against Stevenson. Alec Weissman had 46 assists against Marymount and 40 against Stevenson. They will be back in action at the Bradley Center on Saturday when they take on New Jersey City University and Mount St. Vincent. The men's track and field spring season opens this Friday at Tufts Last Chance Meet in Medford, Massachusetts. After that, they will travel to Boston on Saturday for the IC4A Championships. Snow permitting, women's lacrosse will play against the College of Old Westbury at 2 o'clock here at Ramapo on Sunday. Professional sports. The big news, like we talked about before, LaShawn McCoy was traded to the Buffalo Bills for Kiko Alonso. McCoy, the highest leading rusher in Eagles history, most scrimmage yards per game in Eagles history, third most touchdowns in Eagles history, third most rushing yards, fourth most rushing touchdowns since the Eagles drafted him in the second round in 2009. That clears $11 million. Kiko Alonso missed all of last year with a torn ACL. He had 159 tackles in his rookie year. Eagles cut another $11 million by cutting linebacker Trent Cole, and the Bills made another move by trading for Matt Castle. Peyton Manning will reportedly cut his salary from $19 million to $15 million next season, and Andre Johnson has asked for his release from the Houston Texans. Troy Polamalu still undecided about his future, but the Steelers are prepared to release him if he stays in the league. Vikings coach Mike Zimmer and general manager Rick Spielman spent more than 4 hours in Adrian Peterson's home outside of Houston on Wednesday afternoon. They met with the 2012 NFL MVP to discuss his feelings about returning to the Vikings next season. The Saints have waived Pierre Thomas, Darnell Dockett will sign with the 49ers, and Ndamukong Suh will visit the Raiders next week. The Patriots declined Vince Wilfork's option, meaning he is a free agent. Now we are moving on to the NBA. Russell Westbrook recorded his fourth straight triple-double in Oklahoma City last night in an overtime win over the Philadelphia Sixers. Russell Wilson, 49 points, 16 assists, and 10 rebounds. Anthony Davis returned from shoulder injury last night. He recorded a double-double, 2 blocks away from a triple-double, 39 points, 13 rebounds, 8 blocks, and an 88-85 win. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Toronto Raptors 120-112. LeBron involved in another scrap after a hard flagrant foul. LeBron dropped 29 points, 14 assists, and 6 rebounds. He also had 15 points in the fourth quarter. You hear that one, Skip Bayless? Portland Trail Blazers defeated the LA Clippers in the Staples Center last night. Despite Chris Paul's 36 points and 12 assists, LaMarcus Aldridge had 29 points and 9 rebounds. Ray Allen announced he will not play in the NBA this season. He said he's going to take this season and the offseason to decide on his future. On Tuesday night, the Knicks took on the Sacramento Kings at the Garden. They lost 124-86. They were back in action last night. They lost to the Indiana Pacers 105-82. That moves them to 12-48 overall. They are back in action Saturday against the Pacers at the Garden. Monday night, the Nets held out their playoff chances by beating the Warriors in a tight 110-108 game. Despite a surge by Steph Curry in the fourth quarter, Brook Lopez had 26 points and Darren Williams had 22. Last night, however, they lost to the Hornets 115-91 down in Charlotte. They will be back in action Friday at 8 o'clock against the Suns at the Barclays Center. Moving on to hockey, the Rangers and Devils both took down the Predators this week. The Rangers on Monday, Devils on Tuesday. The Rangers won 4-1. Chris Kreider, Dominic Moore, Rick Nash, and Mark Stahl each with the goal. Cam Talbot had 25 saves on 26 shots. They moved to a first-place tie with the Islanders in the division with 85 points. The Devils won their game against the Predators 3-1. Adam Larson and Eric Jallinat had goals, and then Mike Camilleri had an empty netter. Corey Schneider, 33 saves on 34 shots. They are at a hockey 500 for the first time since November 22nd. However, 10 overtime losses are the reason why they are in 6th place in the Metropolitan Division. The Rangers are back in action on Wednesday. They were back in action on Wednesday. They lost to the Detroit Red Wings 2-1 in overtime. Dan Girardi had the Rangers' only goal. Former Devil Marek Zilishki with the game-winning goal. They are back in action Sunday at Chicago at 7:30 on NBC Sports Network. The Devils are back in action against the Columbus Blue Jackets tomorrow night at Prudential Center at 7 o'clock. The Islanders were in Dallas on Tuesday to play the Stars. They lost 3-2 in overtime. Cody Eakin netted the game winner for Dallas. Josh Bailey and Anders Lee with a goal each. Jaroslav Halak, 32 saves on 35 shots. They are back in action tonight at 8 o'clock at Bridgestone Arena to play, you guessed it, the Nashville Predators. Moving down to spring training, the Yankees played Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Tuesday, Aaron Judge hit a 3-2, 2-out, top of the ninth home run to tie the game at 5. The game ended in a 5-5 tie in 9 innings. Tuesday still, Adam Warren got the ball, 1 hit in 2 innings. Luis Severino, 4 hits, 2 earned, 2 strikeouts in an inning and a third. Yesterday, oh boy, Alex Rodriguez made his spring training debut. First live action since September 25th, 2013. Greeted by mostly cheers, good. He went 1 for 2 with a single in his first at-bat. He grounded out in a 6-4 fielder's choice, and he walked in the 6th. He was then pinch ran for. D.D. Gregorius went 0 for 1 with a flyout and a walk in his Yankee debut. And Nathan Eovaldi, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned, and 1 strikeout. The Yankees lost 3-1. They're back in action today against the Pirates. They will be back in action tomorrow against the Phillies. Feels good to say that. The Mets, no food found in yesterday's game at Disney's Wide World of Sports against the Braves. However, they did win 8-2, probably because they didn't have food in the dugout. Things are already looking good for them, huh? Deuces wild for Dylan G yesterday. 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned, 2 walks. Juan Lagares went 1 for 2 from the leadoff spot with a double, a walk, and a run scored. They were back in action today against the Washington Nationals. It was Bartolo Colon against Max Scherzer, probably a future face-off on opening day. Bartolo Colon pitched 2 perfect innings with 2 strikeouts. Tomorrow, Matt Harvey, Daniel Murphy, David Wright, Michael Kadire, and Curtis Granderson will be making their debuts against the Tigers at Port St. Lucie. First pitch, 1:10 SNY. Speaking of the New York Mets, I know I've been having a lot of updates the last couple of shows. But speaking of the New York Mets and their food, Noah Syndergaard was caught eating during their inter-squad game on Tuesday. Noah, you haven't even made the major leagues yet. Stop thinking you are all that, especially when you haven't even performed that well. What he did was completely uncalled for. He should be out there with his teammates cheering them on. Whether he might not be a part of the major league team officially, this is still his team. This is still his entire franchise. I said it with the Nuggets with their huddle, the 1, 2, 3, 6 weeks chant, which got that coach fired, by the way. I'll say it then. I'll say it now. It's clear that Noah Syndergaard could not wait for this game to be over. You can't love a sport if you can't love a sport if you can't wait for the game to be over, or if you can't wait for the season to be over. Spring training is getting ready for the regular season. Noah Syndergaard made it clear that means that it's not. He made it clear that it's not just for on-the-field skills. You don't eat in the regular season, don't eat now. David Wright showed true leadership. Some people had an issue with people going up to David Wright during the game in front of media, and the fact that it was during the game, people said that he should have waited until afterwards. Honestly, who cares if he did it during the game? Who cares if he did it in front of the media? I think it's a good thing that he did it in front of the media and during the game. That makes it more powerful. That sends the message. If he did it after the game, and if it was just a one-on-one conversation, it wouldn't have meant as much to Noah, to the Mets, to David Wright. Leaders need to make sure that everything is going right in their clubhouse, on the field, off the field, the charity events, whatever. They need to make sure that everything is going as planned. Something was wrong. He took action, and he fixed it. And then the day later on and the day after, they cleared the air, they talked about it, and now they're all good. That is great leadership by David Wright. He sees a problem, fixes it, takes action, clears the air. That is what all leaders should do. They have to clear the air so they are well liked and well received throughout the clubhouse by everybody. I think what Parnell did was a little bit over the top, throwing the food out right in front of him. I don't know how he threw the food out. I don't know if he just took it and tossed it or if he launched it. But I do understand what he was doing. However, I think he needs to leave all that up to David Wright. I think what they should have done was just wrap up the food and get back in the dugout. But unless if that sent the message to Noah Syndergaard also, it probably did. Again, I think it was a little bit over the top by Parnell. But again, what David Wright did was incredible. That's what a true captain is. That's what true leadership is. You see something wrong, you take action, you fix it, you clear the air with everybody, not just who was involved. Just because it involved Bobby Parnell, David Wright, and Noah Syndergaard, the entire team knew about it. I've been on teams where 2 people had issues, and it stretched out beyond the entire clubhouse and more. What David Wright did was exactly what he should have done. Clear the air with Syndergaard. Syndergaard and Parnell probably cleared the air, and they went up to the Mets and said, look, we discussed it. Everything's fine. We like each other. At the end of the day, we are teammates, and we have the potential to be a very good team this year. All in all, Noah Syndergaard needs to know his place. Whether you're a 15-year vet or an absolute nobody, you can't ditch your team like that. You have to be on the field at all times. And the only reason why you should be going into the clubhouse is to, A, go to the bathroom, or B, go to the batting cages underneath the dugout and take a couple of hacks, or unless if you're a pitcher, toss a little bit in the hallway. That's what David Cone did during his perfect game in the rain delay. You didn't see him grabbing a bite to eat. He was keeping his arm loose. I get that Noah Syndergaard, either A, he didn't play, or B, he was done for the day, but what he did was ridiculous. You don't eat in the regular season. Treat spring training like it's the regular season. Moving back up here in the ice-cold, snowy weather, Keith Yandel was traded to the Rangers. I got to tell you, I love this trade. Keith Yandel is the missing piece to that Rangers team. I'm not sure who's going to win the Stanley Cup, but the Rangers are a lot better than they were last year. Think about it. This streak is all without Henrik Lundqvist. His rest is going to be great for them. He's not going to be as tired later on in May and hopefully June. Excuse me. He's played in less games, and this is perfect for them. No one expected them to be this hot, and now that they are this hot, with Henrik Lundqvist coming back on great rest, they're in a great situation. Keith Yandel, entering last night, he had 94 points in this season so far and all of last season. 94 points in less than 2 seasons. Trivia question. Last Ranger defenseman with 100 points in 2 seasons? You don't even have to look it up. Brian Leetch. You know what else is a good thing? Keith Yandel he's one of the oldest guys on the roster. He's 28 years old. Derek Brassard's 27, Carl Hagelin, 26, Kevin Hayes, 22, Chris Kreider, 23, JT Miller, 21, Derek Stepan, 24, Zuccarello, 27, Ryan McDonough, 25, Mark Stahl, 28. 14 guys on this roster are under the age of 30. Rick Nash and Dan Girardi are 30. Henrik Lundqvist is 33 and he has plenty of time left. Keith Yandel, 28-year-old defenseman with phenomenal stats, fits into this system perfectly. And now the Devils are jealous because this is exactly what they're trying to do, which I'm going to get into shortly. I think this trade made the Rangers a finished product. You look at his stats and you're probably not too pleased with his minus 32. Okay, but look at his team. He was on the Coyotes. Over-under is a terrible stat. You can be completely unrelated to the play and still have a plus or a minus. I mean, look at Alex Ovechkin. I think the guy's plus-minus is like somewhere in that range, but the guy has 40-something goals already. Now, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but last time I heard, I think Ovechkin's plus-minus was not too good. And from what I've seen in all sports, when a good player goes from a bad team to a good team, they perform a lot better. Ichiro, when he went from the Mariners to the Yankees, he performed well. Martin Prado, he performed well. I can't name a lot of guys off the top of my head, but historically, when good players go from bad to good teams, they play very well. I think the one flaw for the Rangers is that they're small. That's why they lost in the Stanley Cup last year. And they still competed with a team that was clearly a lot bigger, a lot faster, a lot stronger, and an overall better team, the LA Kings. This trade made the Rangers the easy favorites to win the East, no doubt. I'm very excited to see this team. I hate them with a passion, and I hope they fail as a Devil fan. But as a hockey fan in general, seeing an original six team with this much skill is great for the sport and an awesome story to keep track of. Moving to the other side of the Hudson River, the New Jersey Devils made a couple of trades. They traded away Jaromir Jagr for a draft pick. They traded Marek Zidishki for a draft pick. They got rid of two really good players, and I'm sure that was pretty hard to do. But they're too old. Look at what the Rangers are doing. They have 14 guys under the age of 30. The Rangers are like the Oakland A's. The Devils are not a good team. They have to rebuild. You can't keep relying on 1 and 2 year plans with Jaromir Jagr because obviously it doesn't work. They missed out on the playoffs 2 years in a row. This year's probably going to be the third year in a row. They tried to be like the Yankees of hockey. They tried signing old vets, but hockey's father time hits a lot harder than baseball's. I said before, the Rangers are like the Oakland A's, and what the Devils are doing right now, it's like money hockey. They're going to get young talent, and all of this young talent is going to be playing together for a while, which leads to success. Exhibit A, the New York Rangers. Exhibit B, the New York Islanders. I said it before about, what did I say? The Eagles. You don't have to be a household name in order to be good. Your team does not have to have a bunch of Martin Brodeurs and Jaromir Jagrs and Alex Ovechkins and Sidney Crosbys in order to be good. Because look at the Bruins. I don't even think they have a playoff spot right now. It's all about chemistry and how people play with each other. This might sound insane, but trading Elias might not be that bad of an idea. I know the trade deadline passed already, but it really didn't seem that odd to me. Or at least give him a pay cut and get more young guys. Elias is going to be done in 2 or 3 years anyway, maximum. All I know is that I'm very excited for the Devils for the next couple of years. They're getting a lot of draft picks, and Corey Schneider has been impressive lately. And they're shipping out all their old guys. Travis Zajac needs to start playing like the Travis Zajac from a couple years ago. Same with Adam Henrique. And another thing about the Devils, they need to play more physical. They had a pretty good hot streak before the new year where they played hard. And they won a couple of games because they played hard. When they don't play hard, they stink. They stink in general, but that's what happens when you're not physical. Moving back to the baseball diamond, Brian Cashman had a pretty bold statement today. He said that the New York Yankees captaincy should be retired along with Derek Jeter. Or it should be retired with Derek Jeter's name. Short term, good idea only because it's the Yankees. I think Jeter was the 11th captain in Yankee history. Most teams, like in hockey, you have to have a captain. Or you have to have a couple alternates. The Yankees are not a hockey team. They don't throw captain titles to someone every year. If they gave it out like every year like most teams, it'd be a little ridiculous because it is the Yankees. But long term, this is a terrible, terrible idea. One day, I know it might not seem like it, but we are going to have another guy like Derek Jeter. We said we would never have another Ruth, another Mantle, another Gehrig, another DiMaggio, another Yogi, etc., etc., etc. And then Derek Jeter came along. Guys, someone will come. Jeter was the prime example of a captain. I get it. Played hard every game. Like I said before, he never took 90 feet for granted. And he cared about the fans. He cared about his team's chemistry, all that. I can go on and on about Derek, but I only have 7 minutes left. But never having a captain again? 50 years from now, when my grandkids are looking up to someone who may be a top Yankee of all time, he's not going to be able to be a captain because of Derek Jeter. Most of you know, people who are listening, you know I love Derek. Derek Jeter has been my role model ever since I picked up a bat and a ball. But retiring captaincy is just too much. If you're retiring captaincy with Derek Jeter, that's giving Lou Gehrig a smack in the face. If you're going to retire captaincy, then Lou Gehrig should have been the last captain for the Yankees. Let's say Aaron Judge, who is my new man crush. If Aaron Judge is a 35 home run, 100 ribby guy in his first 5 to 7 years in the big leagues and he wins you a couple of titles, you might want to name him captain, correct? But you wouldn't get a chance to because you're retiring captaincy. Again, not bashing Derek. But you have to look long term. Brian Cashman was better off saying that there should be no captain for X amount of years. Because honestly, the Yankees aren't going to have a captain for a very long time. No one on the current roster is going to be the captain. Although I think Brian McCann is the biggest leader in that clubhouse, I think Cashman is getting a little bit carried away because no one on the current roster can be a captain. Derek Jeter, I still can't believe the guy retired. I'm watching the game yesterday, and it was so weird. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about him. I've seen Derek. I don't know the Yankees without the guy. I looked up to him for all of my 19 years. I went to his last game and I was crying like a baby at his last game. I was crying when he got taken out after his final hit at Fenway. It was the worst day of my life. But retiring captaincy, honestly, it's a big smack in the face to the Yankees organization in general. Because Derek Jeter was not the greatest Yankee of all time. I think he was the fourth. Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Jeter, Mantle, Yogi, Mariano. Those are my top 7. Top 8, oh boy, I don't even know. But retiring captaincy is a little ridiculous. As you are well aware, it is March. That means it is time for the second March Madness fact of the day. Selection Sunday, March 15th. 10 more days until we are going insane looking at our brackets. Today's March Madness fact of the day, the NIT used to be the premier basketball event. It was held at the Garden every year in New York. That used to be considered the way to determine the national championship. As late as 1970, Marquette coach Al McGuire chose the NIT over the NCAA tournament because his team had been placed in the Midwest Regional rather than closer to home in the Mideast. So after that, the NCAA banned any school that declined a bid in its tourney from playing postseason games elsewhere. So an antitrust lawsuit ensued decades later. It was finally settled as part of a deal when the NCAA purchased the NIT, and now, as all of you are well aware, the NIT is simply just a consolation tournament. It's open to teams that don't make the cut for the March Madness tournament. That was today's March Madness fact of the week, and we're going to have another one on Monday, but first, it's time for your Beast of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. This week's Beast of the Week, it was my Beast of the Week last week. Russell Westbrook, second week in a row, and rightfully so. This guy, 4 straight triple-doubles, all four of them since my last show. 49 points, 16 assists, 10 rebounds last night. In an overtime win for the Thunder. He had an insane coast-to-coast slam, one of the greatest plays I've seen all year. Ladies and gentlemen, Russell Westbrook. LeBron is the much better player, but Russell Westbrook has taken my crown as the most exciting player to watch in the NBA. I still don't like the guy, but there's no way I can deny this guy's success, ever. This guy is incredible. He's flat out incredible. Young and a lot of talent. He's one of the main reasons why the Thunder are incredible. Russell Westbrook is, I don't have words for the guy. I said it all last week. 6'3", 200 pounds. But this guy plays like he could play every position on the court. This guy's head is at the rim when he dunks. It's unbelievable. 4 straight triple-doubles, and last night, 49, 16, and 10. Come on. That is unreal. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the Ryan Morik Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Another Throwback Thursday. Beast of the Week music is not going to change. Trophies by Drake. Phenomenal song. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much again for tuning in. Please stay warm, stay dry. Try not to drive on these icy roads. It's very dangerous. The reason why I'm playing this song, Next Episode by Dr. Dre, because I want you all to tune in to my next episode, which will be Monday night at 6 o'clock, here live from WRPR 90.3 Studio A here at Ramapo College of New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not goodbye. It is see you later. Take care, everybody. See you on Monday.
Come back, get back, that's the part of success. If you believe in the S, you'll be relieving your stress.